Hello class. Today we're going to talk about scales, specifically the C scale. We're going to talk about how that relates to the staff, the grand staff that we talked about, the treble clef and the bass clef. We're going to talk about how we can count the scale in numbers. And we're going to talk about something new in the staff called ledger lines. Okay, so the C scale is a really good scale to start on. To learn about scales, because when you look at a piano keyboard and you see the white keys and the black keys, the C scale is all the white keys on the piano. It's just no black keys at all, just going from C to C on the piano. Now if you look on our grand staff, you'll see I wrote out the C scale here in treble clef and bass clef, but we have something new here. This is something new that we hadn't learned about yet, and that is a ledger line. Alright, the very first C in the treble clef scale here is written with a little line going through the note head, but it's not one of the 5 lines of the staff, and that's called a ledger line, because sometimes notes will be below or above the staff that we're looking at. So for example, in the bass clef staff, the last note of the scale in the C scale here also has a ledger line. Now if we remember our tricks from yesterday, we can look at every good boy. Those notes in the treble clef are right here. E, G, B, and the spaces spelling face are right here. F, A, C. But we've got to learn a couple new notes, because below those notes in the staff are the ledger line right here, which is our first note, C, of our scale, and our second note, D, right below the staff. Well, if you think about the alphabet, C, D, E, F, G, A, that's our alphabet up to G, and then we start over at A again. Alright, that's how it works. If we look down here at the bass clef, it's kind of this, it's the same scale, just written for lower instruments. C, D, E, F, G, A. Those are the notes we already learned yesterday. And then our new notes are this note above the staff, B. And you think, remember how it's the lines are great big dogs fight animals. So that's our A. And then we go right up the alphabet, B, C. So the 2 notes we didn't learn yesterday are the B and the C in our bass clef. Now, scales are what make up most of the music we play. Okay? And so it's very important that we learn how scales work. And one way that we like to think about scales is the note names. So we can go right up the scale and just know them by the note names. Now I'm going to go ahead and play it on the flute so you can hear it. It'll sound really familiar. And another way that is good for us to think about scales is with numbers. Alright? So I'm going to go ahead and sing those numbers as I go up the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright? So this is kind of like the architecture of music. This is the building blocks of building our songs. So by learning our scales, learning the note names, and learning the numbers of those scales, we can really get better at reading music and understanding how it's put together. There you go.